Hi everyone, we're with USC Asian American Tutorial Project, and today we'll be going over an introduction to programming with the coding language Scratch. Before we get into the lesson plan today, here's the team members who are leading this video. I'll start us off first. Hi everyone, my name is Kyun Hong, and I am a senior studying business administration.
Hi everyone, I'm Karen. I am a sophomore, also studying business administration.
Hi, I'm Alex Tai. I'm the odd one out. I'm a chemistry major.
And our last team member here is Megan, who is a freshman in architecture. And with that, we'll move on to our lesson plan for today. So to define computer programming, it's the process of designing and building a working program in order to accomplish a specific result or to perform a certain task. On the left here, this is where we build our idea and plan out what we want in order to create what's on the right here, our working program. Some examples include, do we want our program to write something to the end user, like hello? Do we want our program to count off to 1 to 100? Do we want to build a tic-tac-toe game? So this is step one of programming, which is idea creation. Once we finish that step, we move on to what programming language we'll use in order to build our program. This is where we'll actually get to use coding to tell the computer what to do and how to create the program. Moving forward, after we create our idea and give the computer a set of instructions using a programming language, the computer will take that in through sets of zeros and ones called machine code, and it'll generate a working program for us in order to accomplish our goal. As mentioned before, there are a lot of programming languages for us to create programs with. Some are better for creating websites, some are more simpler than others, and some are better for creating games. Some big names here on this slide are Java, Python, and C++, and today we'll be working with Scratch as our programming language. Scratch is a great way to get started with coding because it's block-based, meaning we won't be running into a lot of errors or syntax mistakes because we'll be working with blocks. You'll understand what I mean when we go over our demonstration later with Karen and Alex. Some other reasons why we want to begin with Scratch is because some of the points listed here. First one, we want to help build confidence and hope that this eventually leads to learning more programming languages. Second, it builds foundation and fundamentals. And third, Scratch allows you to easily share your work with your friends and family. And with that, I'll now pass the presentation over to Alex, who will be going over how to access Scratch and our demonstration for today.
So if you can Google Scratch coding, the first result is the Scratch website. You click into it and you can join by clicking the Start Creating option. Going to the Start Creating options, you can see the interface of the Scratch coding. So on the left, you could see the various types of commands that are visualized in blocks. So the first category commands is the motion. So motion involves moving the sprite, which is on the right, as you can see, in the form of the cat, which is named Scratch. So for example, the first block, if you put the move 10 steps block into the board, when you start the code, the Scratch will move 10 steps towards the side it faces. The next category, the main category, is looks. So looks is mainly changing size as well as changing color of the sprite as well as other options. The third category is sound, which, as the name states, deals with the sound that the sprite emits. The next category is kind of special. It's the events category. It's not necessarily a command on its own, but it directs commands to happen when you initiate a certain command. And the fifth category I want to get to is the control. So that involves multiple command statements, so such as the if-then statements as well as the repeat statements. So the if-then statements is as a hypothetical situation is as if a certain command happens, then you initiate another command, and repeat is repeating certain commands that you put the block under.
All right, so when you log into Scratch, one of the first things you see, as Alex just walked you through, is kind of this user interface. So we looked at all the commands, and we're mainly going to be working with these 5. Another thing that you'll see is kind of this tutorial. So you guys can look through this tutorial too. And when you guys look through it, they go through all the basics, but we're also going to be going through the basics today. So you guys can also follow along with me. The first thing that we're going to do with the program is obviously with every program, there's a start. So when we scroll down to events, you can see that we can start a program with various things. So for example, when the green flag is clicked, that can allow the computer to sense that, okay, well, now we need to start this program. Or when the space key is pressed on your keyboard, you can also start a program. So in this case, I'm just gonna drag and drop this into our code when the green flag is clicked. And then from there, you can really do anything. So one thing that we can try doing is getting our sprite to say hello. So we can first just drag and drop to say hello for 2 seconds, and this is under the looks. You can also change this to hello world, and then you can kind of just allow the sprite to do that. Another thing you can test is that when you click on it, it should happen. And so for 2 seconds, our sprite says that. Another thing that we can try doing is going through the, we can also try moving the sprite. So we can move it 10 steps. So as you can see, when you click it, it says hello world, and then it moves 10 steps. Another thing that we can try doing is we can allow it, after it moves 10 steps, to turn 15 degrees. So we can try it again. It moves 10 steps and then it turns 15 degrees. So these are just some of the basics, but another way to really jazz it up is, again, you can use multiple sprites. So when you go on the bottom here, you see a choose a sprite button, and then it'll take you to a page where you have a lot of different characters. So we can choose the bear character. And then for the bear character, wow, he's just sitting on top of sprite, but he has his own commands. So you can, again, you can press, you can drag and drop the events code. So when the green flag is clicked, and then maybe he's doing something opposite from Scratch, and he's actually going to be moving 20 or 30 steps. And so when the green flag is clicked, like, he moves 30 steps. He's also still on top of sprite. So another thing, on top of our first sprite. So another thing that you can do is that you can just change his position by pressing or by clicking the go to and dragging and drop it. And then if you move him over here, you see that he has different coordinates. So if you want him to start on this bottom corner, you can just choose these coordinates, which is -125 and -77. And then he should just start there. So again, if I were to start, he should already start here, and then he moves 30 steps. Another feature is just the backdrop. So again, you guys can just look at all the different backdrops that there are. So if you go here and you can choose a backdrop, then, oh, maybe they're on the baseball fields and they're moving. So there are a lot of different ways to do this, and you guys can really just test it. And so another resource you guys can really look at are different tutorials. You guys can go on YouTube and search up all these different tutorials too.
If you guys want to explore more, you can look into the other set of commands beyond the main 5 we were introducing.
Thank you for joining us in our introduction to programming. We hope you found it helpful, and we encourage you to explore any other coding languages you may want to explore. Thank you.